can't blame anybody else. Your own karma is giving you fruits. And your own karma, if it was in tandem with Bhagavan, then it gives wonderful fruits, meaning comfortable situations in the here or the hereafter. And if it is against dharma, then it gives uncomfortable situations in the here or hereafter, which we, in our ignorance, make it into emotional pain, sorrow. All you have to ask is one question: why is this happening to me? Immediately one is sad. We think ourselves to sadness. Karma does not give sadness. That is only our contribution to the karma phala. Karma gives physical discomfort. But that converting that into an emotional vikas has to do only with us. Okay? So the so-called destiny is not some kind of thing unleashed by Bhagavan. You, bad dad, I have been watching you. Bhagavan is not Santa Claus. He is watching the children and who has been naughty and who has been nice. All the naughty people are getting coal as presents inside their not socks. What are they called? Stockings. Inside the stockings. And the nice children are getting wonderful presents. That's not what it is. Nobody is watching here. That Bhagavan is karma phala data, the giver of the fruits of action, surely, but the action is yours. Bhagavan at the most is the first recycler of karma phala. Recycles, decides in which janma this is best endured, this is best given, and it is impeccable and infallible. So there is, in a way we can say, therefore, based on this understanding, in a way we can say it's all free will. Either we are talking of the free will of 3 lifetimes ago, or we are talking of the free will now. Alright? Or we can say it's all destiny, what free will. And guess what? Both ways you would be right. Because in this very chapter, later on in the next chapter, Bhagavan is going to say, Gahana karmano gatihi. Don't ask me too many questions on karma. Lord Krishna says, next time in the satsang box, don't put too many questions on karma. Because it is Gahana, dense. We are not able to penetrate this karma. We don't know. Because it is all the. And why does Bhagavan say that? Bhagavan says that because human beings are intractable goodness, very intractable. Human beings are just most unpredictable. We do all kinds of strange, funny things. We even surprise Bhagavan, and then immediately he has to write a new karma code and put it in this computer so that it can include this particular act of the human beings collectively or singularly. And so therefore, Gahana Karmano Gatihi. So that is with regard to destiny and free will. And then, so in a sense, can we impact the destiny? Yes. Because what is the so-called destiny or free will from other lifetimes, however you want to look at it. So how do we impact it? We know how. By unleashing karma directed against that. So supposing sickness comes, terrible sickness, and chronic, terrible, difficult sickness comes. And then what do you do with chronic, difficult sickness? You pray. You pray, and then you pray to Bhagavan. And in the prayer, you are unleashing some antibodies, just like the COVID vaccine. It's just like that. You have something to kill the virus of previous karma phala that is keeping on coming and making this into this sickness which is unbearable. And so that is what adrishta, invisible result, because I didn't know it was there until last year I felt good. Now I have these symptoms. So just now it has come. And so therefore I didn't even know it was part of the karmic profile. That's why it's called adrishtam. And so therefore that adrishtam from the past is being taken care of by this adrishtam in the form of prayer, ishtakarma, purtakarma, reaching out actions, giving. All this helps to if the karma phala from the other times is weak, it can be totally neutralized, but if it is very strong, it can be mitigated. So yes. And then the last question, how do we know we are doing the right thing and not getting into more trouble? Well, as long as we are following dharma, we need not worry about that. If we are following dharma, there is no harm in praying for oneself, for others, there is nothing wrong in that. So as long as we are not trying to say that, like for example, like some of the spells in the Atharva Veda, may so and so be harmed. Why? Because I want the position he has or she has. I want that position, so let them suddenly be harmed. So like this, there are spells you can cast, but that will accrue papa because you have to deal with the pain of the person who lost that position. So therefore, as long as one is not doing that, prayer can can mitigate or neutralize karma, and there is nothing wrong with that. Next. Generally, people ask, when there is life in plants also, how can a religious person eat plants, applying the same logic as that of animals? I just want to know how to explain it, because I failed to explain it each time I attempted. Simple. The brinjal, when you try to eat, does not run away from you. That is one logic. Okay? Yeah. Bhindi, what is that called in English? Lady's cigarette. Yeah. Does not run away. That is one logic. Another logic is, I am born with a mouth, a big stomach because it has to be fed regularly, and I am not born with solar panels on my head. Otherwise, we don't need anything. We don't need a mouth, we don't need a stomach, we don't need the digestive organs. All this is a problem, really. Digestive organs means there will be digestive upset. So, all this is a problem. So, we don't need any of these things. All we need is a head with solar panels. Like the plant, we make our own food and we are rolling around. Just the head is rolling around. How come it's not like that? How come that is not the setup? That means we have to depend on something. Yes, eating plants, little bit of himsa is there. Cooking plants, even tiny bit of himsa will be there. But Bhagavan recognizes that this is the setup, and in fact, very helpfully in the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Oshadhibhyaha annam. Food comes from plants. Even for the so-called, non-vegetarians, food comes from plants. You either eat the plants directly or feed the plants to the animal and eat the animal. It's like Dravida Pranayama. Pranayama you can simply do here, but then there is Dravida Pranayama. Like that you have to bring. You have to have arms like Lord Rama. Ajanu Bahu till the knees. His arm when he stood. Lord Rama apparently had long arms until the knees. Ajanu means until the knees. It reached beyond his knees. And so therefore, that is, we have to eat something to survive. Digestive juices are there, and and for that, for every uncultivated desire and need, there is an uncultivated solution. We saw that, and so this seems to be the lesson of that. So yes, there is. That's why the Jain people don't even eat half the vegetables. Under the ground, when you dig for carrots, potatoes, So many things die. So to minimize that, they don't eat carrots, potatoes and things underground. Certain other things that grow on creepers, they don't eat that. For some reason I forgot. And then many things, they are very, very limited in what they eat. So some himsa is there. But if you try to catch a hen, chicken, it will run away. It wants to save itself. Try to catch a boat, it will run away. And like this, there are so many stories in America. A truck full will be being taken to the slaughterhouse, and then the animals somehow know as they are reaching there because they smell the fear of the other animals, and they run away somehow. And the rule of the thumb, at least in America, is if they run away from the butcher, that means it is gets a free life. Then they don't run after it and catch it and bring it back. They take it to a safe house. Thank God, little dharma prevails there also. So these are the two things you can tell. One is the things we eat are not running away, and the second thing, and not running away to save themselves. And the second thing you can tell is that we cannot, so we are not born with solar panels on our head. We cannot make our own food. Is Vedanta a serious business? Very serious. Or should one be light in learning Vedanta? Because some people cut themselves off from social circles and tend to be alone. Is loneliness part of Vedanta? I won't say loneliness is part of Vedanta. I will cut the L. L. Onliness is part of Vedanta. Onliness is very, very different from loneliness. In fact, we have a Upanishad we will be studying called Kaivalya Upanishad. Kevalasya bhava. Kevala means only. Kaivalya, you make that into an abstract noun by adding ness. What do you get? Onliness. Is that a word? Now it is. And this onliness is the situation here. Onliness means that all that is there is Brahman, which happens to be me. Loneliness is not part of Vedanta. Yes, in the 13th chapter of that being said, in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, spend some time in solitude. Doesn't mean all the time, sometime. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Sevitvam, subscribe to, spend some time. Vivikta means Vijaya Pradesha, a place where a lot of people are not just mulling around. That's why the ashrams, temples are situated on hilltops, on some areas where not many people go. So very rarely we will have ashrams inside a mall. Yeah. I say very rarely because I don't know of any, but that doesn't mean it won't be there. And I came this close. In Atlanta, they had a temple inside a mall and they said, oh, please come and teach here. And I did teach a few times. But then at the Gita class was from 10:30 to 12. And at 11:30, the chart shop right opposite the room they had given me to teach opened up. And all the people were smelling and looking at that, and I would feel so bad for them because then I would always end class 45 minutes early, and they were so happy to just go and have chat. So therefore it's not very conducive to learning. And they themselves would say they were just fantastic people, no problem with that. And then see, Vedanta is a lot of fun. It's very joyous, it's very great, it's wonderful. But it is a serious business. It's the most serious commitment that you have made in your life. Commitment-wise, it is serious. Purpose-wise, it is serious. It's a serious commitment because you have seriously thought about it and you have made that commitment. So in that sense, it is serious. And then in the course of the time, I mean 6 months is nothing, wait till you watch how the 3-year course is. In that time people go through a lot of transformations. Things come up from the unconscious mind, difficult issues come up, memories come up for healing. Some kind of pain comes up which needs to be neutralized. For all that, one needs solitude. So, not knowing other people, we don't know who these people are. We have to give them the benefit of doubt and give them the space, as we give ourselves the space to go through whatever process Bhagavan has intended for us in the course of the study. It is all a full healing. And healing does not happen, it's all not nice. Some difficulties come up. Then only the one is able to acknowledge and invite the healing to come into place. And so we don't know everybody's processes. So if we see people alone, just leave them alone. If you want to pray for them, pray for them. That's all. We respect everybody's process. So it's neither light nor heavy. It is all about a serious commitment that is a lot of fun when it is taken seriously. This is a very nice one. How to find the balance between letting go and not giving up. This is so easy. You try, and you try, and you try. And then what happens? Nothing. Then you say, okay, maybe Bhagavan doesn't want me to do this right now. Don't say forever. Forever means giving up. Then you wait for some time. Let's see, maybe the tide will turn, maybe Shani will go into a different house, transit Saturn. That also makes a big difference. Yeah. And so maybe Jupiter will, right now Jupiter has gone retrograde. For half of the people it's good news. For the other half of the people it's not very good news, depending on what one's ascendant or lagna or moon sign is, where the Chandra is situated. So give it some time to see if the wheel of fortune turns around a little bit, the Kala Chakra turns around. Maybe you are in the flow and you can try again. And if it again does not work, just say Namaha and then do something else. That's all. If it's meant to happen, it will come. Have that confidence, have that trust. Why and how is it important to develop sattva for a sadhaka? What are the benefits in daily life? One sleeps better because one eats light. That's part of the sattva. Sattvic diet is light and airy, so with a full stomach one gets nightmares and one tends to wake up a lot. Plus, acid reflux, so many other problems are there. So the first thing in day-to-day life is what? Sleep a lot better. The other reason you sleep a lot better is because there is very little conflict. Sattva means it's an easy life. Easy means I'm not in conflict with anybody. I'm not spending my time critiquing anybody or judging anybody. Why? Because I have so much self-judgment that itself is taking a long time to deal with. I have miles of self-judgment to overcome. So I am busy taking care of myself, and then in the process I am practicing, even though I don't want to, I am practicing being compassionate, being accommodative and giving. This is what Swaminiji used to call Fake it and make it. But you're not really faking it. You're thinking that you're faking it because you are already, one's nature is to be accommodative, compassionate, everything. So therefore, when every strain of my body and mind, which are run by raga and dvesha, do not want me to grow, do not want me to be spiritually more evolved, do not want me to be giving, do not want me to be accommodative, do not want me to be content, I still go against the grain and do that. And not only my daily life improves, other people around me, their daily life also improves. Because they don't have to deal with me anymore. They don't have to duck under a piece of furniture, behind a piece of furniture if they see me coming. So this is very nice. So sattva benefits not only oneself, but everybody around you. It's a gift that keeps on giving. When envisioning the setting of the Bhagavad Gita, are we to understand that the battle is ongoing during Krishna and Arjuna's exchange? Can those on the front lines see and hear it? Has time stopped? This has always piqued my curiosity, and I am eager to know how all the 18 chapters came from a teacher to student, with no apparent disruption. Very nice question. So, well, in a way, the battle was going on, and in a way, at the same time, time stops when we talk about Brahman. Not just in the Mahabharata, but even here. And what is time when we are talking about the timeless? So every time we are talking about the timeless for 1 hour. So the class is 1 hour long. So for 1 hour we are talking about the timeless means what? It means nothing. That hour is nothing. Because when that vision of timelessness is transmitted and received, time truly stops. Because Brahman is not being, when one says, I know Brahman, it is not an event in time. Rather, it's a process of shedding. That's why in English, when you translate the word Upanishad, it should be Upanishad. That which makes all this shed. Anatma, shed. And then what else? Body, mind, sense complex is me, shed. It gets shed all on its own. The more we expose ourselves to the knowledge, the more the not knowledge gets shed. And in this process, I discover who I am, and the clarity grows in this process of self-discovery. And so, 6 months into it, I think, oh my God, OMG, I know so much. And then I find after 1 year, that 6 months was nothing. I know much more. It's not that you know much more. One is confused much less. That is how it is. So no, technically we cannot say time stopped. So time was marching on, things were happening, and the Bhagavad Gita was given by Sanjaya as he saw it. And when Sanjaya saw the Bhagavad Gita being transmitted to Arjuna through Lord Krishna, he could not think of which petty soldier was fighting with which other soldier, or which king was killing somebody else, or which chariot was coming down. There was not the focus. Although the Mahabharata war is greatly described, on the 7th day this happened, on the 15th day Abhimanyu died, on the 13th day this one died, everything is nicely talked about. But it never says on which day the Gita teaching took place. Precisely for this reason, that really speaking, It's not an event in time. Brahma Vidya, not the teaching of Brahma Vidya, that could be an event, but the assimilation, when we look at it from Arjuna's standpoint, listening to the Shastra with such earnestness, with the arrows whizzing by, with the kettle drums being beaten, with the conch shells being blown, with so much cacophony in the air, he was mesmerized. He had never heard of something like this. And he wanted to keep on hearing more. And so he kept the Lord in place, asking questions after every chapter. That's how we have so many chapters. So really, in a way, time stands still when one is receiving the knowledge. We don't even know where time is. But from the empirical standpoint, time marches on. That is for me to write my own question. We earlier learned that the swaras change the meaning of the mantra, sukta. Can correspondence between the swaras and the meanings be further elaborate? How does the system work? If possible, please give example of how wrong swaras change the meaning. Gladly. In the Shri Suktam, there is a sentence. Alakshmir me nashyatam tvam vrine. Tvam vrine. I choose you. Who do I choose? Lakshmi. I choose you, O Goddess Lakshmi, to be with me. You who are the deity, the goddess, the mother goddess of abundance. Take away scarcity from my heart. And this scarcity in one's heart is embodied into a being for better clarity. She is called Alakshmi. She is also called Jyeshtha, the elder sister of Lakshmi. Why does she have to be the elder sister? Because she was there and then Lakshmi comes and spirits her away. So we always say, and the word Lakshmi means radiant, resplendent, shining. Alakshmi is the opposite of that, lackluster. So if you look at photos or idols of Goddess Lakshmi, she is dressed to the hilt. She is wearing rich clothes, coins are coming out of her hands. Elephants are there surrounding her. She is on a lotus flower. She is sitting or standing on the lotus flower. Purity and abundance go together. And Alakshmi, so Lakshmi's mascot is elephant. Again, big, huge, abundant. Alakshmi's mascot is a barn owl. That's why in India, nobody likes to have owl darshanam. Nobody wants to buy things with owls on them. So owl is seen as Alakshmi's friend. This is a little strange, except when it is white. Then it becomes Lakshmi's Vahana. White owl, because it's very rare. Usually we see the brown owl and things like that. So now this is what this Alakshmi is wearing tatters, ragged clothes. She is not an entity. She is not really her sister or anything. She embodies the collective scarcity mentality of people. When we think ourselves to be poverty-stricken, when God has given so much. So we say, Alakshmir me nashyatam tvam vrine. But then before that Alakshmi, that something else comes, I forgot exactly what. But then that elides, bring that mantra pushpam, look it up. Look up Sri Suktam. And so the Alakshmir me nashyatam tvam vrine. And so while saying that, Lakshmi me nashyatam dvamrine. So what are you saying? Lakshmi me nashyatam. The you have to say. And if we don't say the and if you breathe in the wrong place, then what are you asking for? May the radiance and the lustrous goddess, the illustrious goddess be destroyed in my life. Do we want that? Absolutely not. But that is what is the swara. Swaras therefore become extremely important. Found it? Where is it? Somewhere is there. Alakshmir me nashyatam. Here, yeah. Tam Padminimim Sharanamaham Prapadye Alakshmir me nashyatam Tvam Vrine. But then it can, if you say it without that there, then you will say it as Sharanamaham Prapadye. That after A, when comes, the undergoes an elision. Everywhere it should undergo an elision, but here we don't allow it to undergo the elision, or even if the elision is there, you don't take a breath there. So if you say Prapadye and you breathe and say Lakshmir me nashyatam vamrine, it becomes two different words. So this is how the swaras are very, very important. Do we have the equivalent of a bodhisattva in our tradition? Can a jnani or a jivan mukta who has attained moksha decides he, or I will add she, wants to be born again to serve humanity and to make sure every living being attains moksha before he or she accepts hers moksha? Does a jnani have this power to give up moksha for the sake of seva? If yes, do we have any example like Dalai Lama in Tibetan Buddhism? Okay. First of all, before answering the question, we should understand what is moksha. So, if moksha is away from me, then I can get it and then I can say, here, you please have it, and then I can give it. Alright? But here moksha is already you. In our tradition, in Vedanta, what is moksha? It is your nature. Is it a siddha vastu or is it a sadhya vastu? Siddha vastu means is it an established already fact or is it something to be attained? Siddha vastu. Sadhya vastu means what? It should be accomplished. Is it something to be accomplished? No. It is already accomplished as though far away from me. Why? Avidya. Yes, I told you that's the strong answer for any question. Avidya. Would you like to have samosa? Avidya. Don't say that then. So because of Atma Ajnanam, I don't know. So then Atma Jnanam comes and makes you shed all the anatma that was already there. This is how one quote unquote becomes a jnanin in our tradition. Alright, so it's more of the shedding. So then when will the jnani, suppose the jnani wants to stop her moksha or his moksha, when will they do that? After they understand, it's hard to go back and say, it's impossible to go back and say, I want to go back to what? Self-ignorance. Not possible, correct? So then on the way to moksha, can I say, I want to stop right now because I'm about to get moksha? Because it is not a process. It's not that after shedding 50 things, I will get moksha. Like Ashwamedha Yajna, Indra starts getting nervous after the 98th Ashwamedha, it was pointed out. So, is it like that? After 100 things are shed or 50 things are shed, I will get moksha? No. Then I can stop at 49. I myself don't know how many wrong notions I have. I myself don't know how many has to be shed. So, either I don't go for self knowledge at all and just serve, or after self-knowledge there is nothing more to do because I can still serve as a jnani. So this is in one's lifetime. Then, so since one is already a Jivan Mukta, the other Mukti called Videha Mukti is just Aupachariki Mukti. Means it is a Mukti for lip service alone. Meaning the person is Mukta from the body that they were carrying. The body they were carrying is dropped. That is the mukti. But even while alive, they were free. Even now they are free. While alive, they were revered as Ishvara. Even now they are revered as Ishvara. Okay. So this is point number 2. Then point number 3 is this. That after Atma Jnanam, there is no possibility of coming back. Unless, of course, it is Bhagavan coming as an avatara. Now we are waiting for which one? Kalki. And there is one, what is that? Somebody who has prophesied in Orissa, some Achyutananda Das. He has written a Bhavishya Malika, and according to his calculations, Kalki is 11 years old. Baby Kalki is now 11 years old. That's what he says. But anyhow, so unless it is Bhagavan who decides to take birth in a human form, since we already have the concept of avatars, so the individual jnani, what is that? After the dropping of the body, has no body identification, has no identification with his or her own sthula sukshma sharira, and therefore has no identification with the Jagat as a separate entity with full of beings who need moksha. That concept is not there for us. Why? Because when you are identified with your body in a certain way, when you choose to be identified, then only you can look at the other people's identifications of their bodies and help them and help with avidya. So that doesn't happen. We don't have this concept at all. We don't have this is one very big difference between Hinduism and Buddhism. We don't have that. And then it's not even to give other people moksha, they will say sometimes moksha, they will say to help other people with their process of nirvana, but they also say to what is that? To ease the suffering of sentient beings. There are already many sentient beings who are already doing that. So we allow that to go on because as Bhagavan, whatever is there will happen. That being said, sometimes we see people who are very close to Atma Jnanam being born, like Ashtavakra, the person with 8 bends in the body, and one rendition of how he got the bends, speaking of swaras. His parents were Vedantists. They were studying with the sage. Sujata and Kahoda were their parents' names. Both husband and wife were studying with the sage while she was carrying the baby. And apparently, the father's chanting was bad, and the child cringed as a fetus, as a baby. It cringed in the stomach, so wherever it cringed, it developed bends by one particular, and it tried to kick the mother so that the mother would correct the father, but the mother didn't understand. She just thought, oh, how cute the baby is kicking. That's all she thought. So, and when he tried to kick, then some whatever bends came in the legs and everything. Some rendition of the story is there. So like Ashtavakra, like a recent example, Ramana Maharshi, etc. We see that, and that is because they had done either all their homework in a previous life or they had Atmajnanam in the previous life, but they were gone again because of what is called Shishta Prarabdha, a special kind of prarabdha, very, very rare. Shishta prarabdha means, let's say, supposing somebody was about to live for 90 years, but they didn't take good care of their body. Let's say they were a wandering mendicant, they ate whatever and their stomach was gone and then everything was gone, they braved the winters and the cold and the rain, and so instead of 90, they died at 60, let us say. So then that 30 years, and they were a jnani, and but that 30 years somehow that prarabdha had to be exhausted. So one may be born, the Shastras say, for 30 years in a different life with full Atmajnana. That is possible, but very, 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 very rare. Okay. Yeah. So the jnani, does the jnani have this power? Yes, as Ishvara, not as a jnani separately identified with the body, mind, sense complex. So to give up moksha for the sake of seva. Seva the jnani can do as Ishvara. The jnani doesn't have to himself, herself come back, and so therefore the seva can be done at any time, no problem at all. As Ishvara. Ishvara has many ways of doing seva. These you will keep in a safe place for after the weekend. And these can be disposed of. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari